Well, I dance a bit and I'm really quick. I rock to the beat so viciously. Why you go imitating Bruce Lee? I like to feel my highs, I like to feel my lows. Rock, try to kick with your toes. I'll do it for you now and I'll show you how. I rock to the beat, so watch my feet.
Hey, all you $2 late fee fans. I'm here with my buddy Zak in studio live. It's me, Jonathan Neverfails, better known as JW Fails from that classic old movie, No Retreat, No Surrender, here to talk more about those times in the 80s and just hang out with my buddy.
Jonathan Neverfails.
Yes.
AKA JW Fails back in the day.
Right.
Welcome back to $2 late fee.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back with you, Zak, and talk a little bit more.
Yeah, so, last time you were on, we had Kurt and
Yes.
you on, and I kind of alluded to the fact that I had been wanting to get you on the show for a long time. I had said that.
All right.
And the truth is that was an understatement because Kurt was on the show maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we brought you up, and I said, I am on a quest to get Jonathan Neverfails on the show. And my co-host Dustin, he's like, if anyone's going to do it, you're going to do it. So I was on this exhaustive search.
Wow.
And, obviously it didn't happen until Kurt's like, yeah, I can get JW to come on the show. Bingo, bango, here we go. And I said, I want to have you back on to dig deeper into who you are and your career and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
So
well, I truly appreciate it.
yeah, man. It's a long time coming.
Yes.
And the last we talked, the documentary, The Untold Story of No Retreat, No Surrender, was in the process of getting funded.
Yes.
After the interview dropped, it got funded pretty soon after that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking any credit. I'm just saying. And then it got fully funded. I know it's in the process of being made right now. It's almost done, I guess. Can you give us any updates on it?
I don't really have a lot of updates as far as that process. I have spoken with Sean recently. I know there's some things in the works. I don't know where I have a green light to kind of say on things or not, but I can just say there are definitely things in the works. Things are looking very well with it. And, from the bottom of my heart, it's a project that I'm definitely honored that I was a part of it and made that history. And I'm looking forward to a lot of future, endeavors within that franchise.
I know, of course, you can't say a lot, and I totally respect that.
Right.
And I know it's coming out soon, so everyone can get excited for it.
Right.
Who would have thought? 40 some odd years?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Here we are talking about a movie, your first movie.
Right.
I mean, technically, not your first project, but your first big movie you're a part of.
Definitely, by far.
And last time you were on the show, and I encourage everyone to go back and listen to that interview as well, because it's a lot of fun. Last time you were on the show, you and Kurt both talked about working at the old spaghetti factory.
Yes.
At the same time?
Yeah,
roughly?
I think somehow we may have, I don't know if we were there at the exact same time, but probably within that exact same year. Definitely. Because when I was working there, it was after I did the movie. Because I remember they had a newsletter, and I still have a copy of it somewhere. It's called the Mazistra, off of the cheese that they have.
The Mazistra.
Right. And they had my name in there saying, and he starred in the movie No Retreat, No Surrender. So that's how I know it was definitely after that. But the whole great thing about Spaghetti Factory was the bulk of the staff was somehow intertwined within the industry. So they were either actors, dancers, singers. So they were so used to people coming to work. Oh, I got to go to an audition, or, oh, hey, I booked something, so I'm working. So it worked out perfectly. And the fact that at the time it was in the center of Hollywood, there on Sunset Boulevard, right across from the Sunset Gower Studios, KTLA's right down the street. I mean, it was just really in the midst of everything. It was very convenient if someone was pursuing a career at that time.
Yeah, you could go off to your audition.
Exactly.
I'm sure the business loved it because they're like, look, we got talent here.
Yes. And, there's a couple of guys. I mean, I know some of them were doing works on like soap operas, or, they were, starting to get into like the music videos. So there was definitely a staff of employees with working actors there.
I think there's this idea that when you come to Hollywood, you get your gig and then that's it. And it's the age-old story, like every actor has to have some sort of backup going on.
Right, you have to.
So
you have
did
to.
you move? Were you originally from LA or did you move
No,
here?
I was actually born in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, Ohio. Why,
January 3rd, 1966. Put the age out there. And I
You're a little bit older than me, but we
just
could
a
literally
tad,
be.
just a tad, yeah, I'm just barely turned 21. But I moved out. I graduated. It was around 84. And I want to say literally a few days after that, I moved out here. And the crazy part about it is I never once moved back home.
Wow.
So we have, 40 years of me just here.
Hustling.
Exactly.
Wow, man.
Exactly.
That's a
Right.
trip. I mean, especially, moving 2,000-3,000 miles away.
Right.
And from everything you know.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, I had an aunt and cousin that living here, and he lived here all his life. And I was always back and forth since I was about 3 years old. So,
Okay.
so many of our friends, no, you went to school here. No, I didn't. I was just always here. I would be here for the whole summer. So it looked in a lot of people's eyes like I was actually living here, but I wasn't. I mean, I would come, go back home, come back home. And when I was about 16, I remember I came out here and, I was, hey, I'm going to try to pursue this. So, I was like sending informations to agents doing research, trying to figure out, what is it that I need to do to kind of pursue a career out here. And the wheels were already turning back then.
Right.
And I was already in the industry because I had been doing things since I was about 9 years old. Because in Cincinnati, I went to the School of Creative and Performing Arts there. And, I had a lot of people come out of that school that are working to this day. So, I mean, it was a very productive school. We did everything on a professional level. So I had that under my belt. And I said, well, let me just kind of look around. And I ended up getting, I went to this agent that I was with, and she was by law. Well, I can't really do a lot with you, but let's see what we can try to do. I know you're still underage. So, hey, let me let you know about some code reading classes and things, so you kind of get an idea of the process out here. So I went and I studied with this lady named Lois Auer, and she was like a legend at the time. I mean, I hear she goes all the way back to helping Ron Howard when he was young. So
wow.
It's that kind of a history. And I was, studying, and I heard about a couple of auditions. I tried to go out for a couple of things. They were interested in me on a project, and then my mom said, no, you need to come back home and finish school here. Needless to say, I wasn't that happy, but I realized now was probably one of the best things that could have happened.
Yeah.
But so as soon as I graduated, I came right back, reached out to that same agent again, like, hey, I'm back. And she was interested, but I think our concepts were slightly different on a few things. So I just kept pursuing, reading the trade papers, going out there. I found out about a couple of movies that were actually filming near my aunt's house. One was Brewster's Millions with John Candy and Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah, Brewster's Millions.
Right. So I ended up doing some extra work
Walter
on that.
Hill directed that.
Right. And then I went from that right into the Electric Boogaloo.
If you've never felt it before, you feel it now. Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. The Ultimate Breakers, Kelly, Ozone, and Turbo are back. For everyone who believes in the beat. And the beat's never been better. Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, rated PG. Starts Wednesday at a theater near you.
And I was going to be the same thing as the extra, but what happened was Michael Chambers, Boogaloo Shrimp, who was one of the leads in there, he was underage and I wasn't. And we were like the exact same size and everything. And they said, we need someone that could be a photo double for him because he can only work so many hours. He has to, by law, he has to go to school. Well, I was already out of school, so they could work me as crazy as they wanted to. So a lot of times in the movie on some of the shots, far shots and stuff, it was actually me. It wasn't him. and we had to wear the same outfit every day, and it was a fun experience. But I got from that movie, I received one of the best friendships that I could have received in Hollywood, and that was actually with Shabba-doo, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And I found out then, how to be humble if things ever were to excel for me in the industry, because this guy was a lead driving around a nice Jaguar and everything, and I didn't have a car or anything, but they said, hey, go meet him every day. He's going to bring you in, and I would ride with him to the set and back home. Always treated me fair, always treated me as an equal. And to show you how things work, years down the line, I was doing some other projects, and this other movie came up called Lambada. By then,
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, by then, I'm getting, co-star roles, starring roles. And so I ended up being in the movie. And the biggest reason I wanted to be in it, because I was going to play the DJ, but I was really into rap at the time. So as a rap artist, so I was like, okay, they're going to let me rap in this movie and everything. And he was one of the co-stars. Yeah. And so I went from me being like an extra, a double, to me and him having dressing rooms right next to each other. Still that same camaraderie between us. JW, man, it's good to see you. We'd hang out, go to clubs, do all kind of things. And I just remembered always, and I remember I had a chance to tell him too, hey, man, I really appreciated what you did for me back then, because I was new. I was gleaning to Hollywood. You could have played the star attitude and no, I can't have him ride with me. And he just, hey, come on, man, let's go. I mean, he just was always right there. And I truly, truly appreciated that about him, And we were able to, work again years later.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that, because oftentimes people work on a project, they never see each other again. That's it,
Right.
Oh, we're family on this project. We're having such a great time. You never see them again. Then 30 years down the road, we did a movie together, right? Yeah. You were going to be my groomsman in my wedding. Wait, what? No,
exactly.
That kind of relationship.
Exactly.
He always struck me as such a genuine person.
Very
on
genuine.
Screen.
Very genuine.
And legendary performances.
Yeah.
I think Breakin' and Breakin' 2,
Right.
both. I love both equally. Right. And I think it's cool that his legacy. It's so sad when someone leaves us, but the legacy lives on if they're a performer in some respect, So we've got that to look back on.
Exactly.
I want to roll back to Breakin' a little bit. And did you have a formal dancing background, or did you kind of just wing it?
I just kind of winged it. I mean, I wasn't really called in to be one of the dancers. Yeah. I mean, I think I danced all right. But
I think regardless of your stand-in or whatever, your own legit moves were great. I can't do any of that.
Yeah. Well, some of it I actually couldn't either. But we worked around it when I did the No Retreat. But
yeah, of course.
But I mean, it was a great opportunity. Got to meet a lot of great people in there. A lot of people that their careers took off. Some of them I would run into, and because you kind of run into some of the same circles where you're really out there pursuing it, and so I would run into a lot of them, and it was just a fun experience. I was actually talking about that with my wife the other day. I said, we were watching something. I think we were something with Grease, and I was like, I bet they had a lot of fun when they made that movie back in the days, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, because I know when I was on Electric Boogaloo, it was just a blast because, everything was just upbeat, the dancing and everything. And same with Lambada. I mean, it was a lot of dancing. So It was just that upbeat thing. And it's a lot of fun. So it keeps that energy going the whole time.
Well, okay. There are selective moments from your career I want to highlight, and Lambada is one of them.
It's the rhythm of romance. It's the danger of desire.
If you're gonna go fishing, you've got to have the right bait.
A teacher, his student, and the dance that changed their lives and tore a school apart. Exotic, erotic, lose yourself in the heat.
This is the 90s, man. Chicks got a right to choose.
Go all the way. Lambada. Set the night on fire.
Lambada came out the same year as another film, right? There were
Yes.
2 rival
Yes.
dance movies.
Yes.
I have this conversation with my friends and co-hosts of the show often. You know, Hollywood has this weird thing of putting out 2s of everything, right? The first to get their volcano movie out, like Dante's Peak, and
Right.
you know, and then there's 2 end of the world movies, Armageddon and Deep Impact, but there was a time when there were 2 competing dance movies.
Yes.
For Lambada, which was a legit dance. It was similar, I would say, in craze. It was similar to the Macarena kind of deal.
Exactly.
You know, very sultry. But there were 2 movies that came out.
So
You
they came
starred
out.
in the better of the 2, in my opinion.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And, you know, I don't even think I've ever seen the other one. But I know there was Lambada, Set the Night on Fire. That was ours.
Yes.
And then Lambada, The Forbidden Dance.
Yeah.
And the way it was told to me, the way the story went down, it was through Canon Films.
Yeah.
And what's that? Golden Globus and Menard.
Menachem, yeah,
Golem.
yep.
And so
The Go-Go Boys, as they
right. I
like to
guess
be
it was a fallout. They had a fallout, and the project that they were working at the time was to do a movie about Lambada.
Oh,
So they both wanted to do Lambada still. So one went this way with it, and the other one went this way with it. And I kid you not, out of anything I've ever worked on, I think this is the fastest I've ever seen a project come out, because we wrapped, let's say, on a Friday. By that next following weekend, that movie was in the theaters.
really?
And I'm like,
What?
how does something happen that fast? And they were rushing, who's going to get it out first? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
This and that. And I'm not really sure how well either one of them did. I mean, I know the one that I did. I mean, I see it pop up here and there from time to time. So I can't really speak a whole lot about the other one because I don't remember seeing it at all.
Right.
Maybe I did, but I don't really remember. But ours, I think, was probably more family friendly because
was.
it dealt
It was
with the
PG.
school, right? It dealt with the school. It had the kids, and it was a lot of fun.
The other one
Really
was a little more edgier, if I guess you could say. But,
Right.
The nostalgia is what lives on for me. So a
Right.
movie like Lambada, I look at it and I go, I remember when that came out. I remember the controversy because there's 2 rival movies. I didn't know the backstory that the brothers
Yeah,
were
yeah.
battling each other. And I look at it and go, hey, whether it was that good or not back then, it's fun to watch now.
Right.
Like I watched it fairly recently before, when we were talking about having you come back on the
Oh,
show.
okay.
I'm like, I want to dig a little bit deeper into Jonathan's work,
Right,
And I
right.
rewatched Lambada. I'm like, this is actually a really fun movie.
Yeah.
But also seeing 2 white people dancing as the leads doesn't really track so much either.
They tell you another story about that movie
Please.
that a lot of people don't know. You remember Vanity?
Of course I do. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Vanity was going to be in the movie.
Which makes total sense,
Yeah.
by the way.
She was going to be in the movie, and the thing about the scene would have been me and her because she was going to be performing, and I would have been in the back being the DJ.
Yeah.
And I don't know, production was, I don't know what they were doing, this and that, and they were just lagging, and she was there. And I remember her limo had a flat tire, so then that
Oh, no.
extended her time to be there even
No.
longer. And next thing I know, she left. She didn't do it. So they had another artist in there doing I think it was a female rapper.
Yeah.
That was in there, and so she didn't do it.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
It's
and
one of
I-
those what if moments.
Right. But she, seemed like a wonderful person. Very nice, down to earth. Another person, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was supposed to be in the movie.
And Shabba-Doo's great in it. I mean, it's...
Oh yeah. He's shabba-doo, and like I said, we used to hang out a little bit here and there.
You
and
said he
he
drove like a Rolls Royce or something?
No, it was a Jaguar.
Jaguar.
That's when we were doing Electric Boogaloo.
Wow,
They were
he
doing-
had that in Electric
Yeah,
Boogaloo.
he had it when we were doing Electric Boogaloo. I forget what he was driving when we were doing Lambada. I don't think he had that by then,
Okay.
but I mean the thing about that particular movie, Lambada, is the bulk of the shooting was at night. So we had all night shoots. I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
literally. I mean, and
The interior stuff is mostly when you're in the school.
right,
you know.
and that also, it's funny how a lot of things kind of intertwine together. Where we filmed like the dancing club and the school and all that was actually at this school in Los Angeles that they filmed things at all the time called Bishop Connerty
Okay.
Catholic school. And here they are down here in the basement doing the lambada, you know. It was kind of like, wow. And I filmed another movie there for Keeps.
For Keeps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we filmed that one there too. So
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I think that school has been used a lot. I mean, if you drive by there now, and went past there maybe a few weeks ago. I mean, it's all really nice. And I'm like, man, I guess Hollywood probably helped pay for all of that because I think they filmed a lot of movies there. I don't know if they still do, maybe. I mean, because it's, you know, it just has that look and feel that I guess studios liked. And so they would use it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like these places double, like Pasadena doubles for Haddonfield, Illinois, and John Carpenter's Halloween movies. You know, and
really?
So,
I didn't know that.
So you get
Wow.
this idea of like, oh wait, but that was shot in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Did it look like it was here in back east?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trip.
It is. It is.
You mentioned Grease. I think Grease and Lambada and Breaking 2. That's a fun little night of family viewing because all those movies are fairly harmless. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just picture you and Shabba-doo driving around in a Jaguar. What a time that must have been in this early 80s run. You come out to LA
Right.
from Ohio,
Right.
starting your career, and you're booking these jobs. And when you did No Retreat, No Surrender, you talked about how you got cast fairly early on, right?
I just know that it was kind of weird, and I remember they told me on the spot, like, you have the part, and I'm thinking in my head, it cannot be that easy in Hollywood, and I found out later, no, it's not.
From the script to what you see on screen, where was your character pretty much as is, or did it get broadened, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was more scenes I mean, they had the scene in the script, which that's funny you should say that.
Oh wait,
Because I actually
what do you got there?
have my script.
No way!
there.
Ring of Truth.
That's
Look
what
at
it was
that.
originally called.
Really?
Ring of Truth. And
Wow.
yes.
I'll take pictures of this stuff,
Yeah,
by the
definitely.
way, and post it on our Instagram. Amazing.
Yeah, and there's a scene in the script where it explains why Scott didn't like me.
Yeah.
And so it was at school and a lunchroom thing, and I accidentally trip him, and he gets all this stuff over him. So from there, he just had a continuous hatred for me, and it didn't. That wasn't in the movie.
Yeah,
It wasn't in there. So and there was a couple of other scenes too, but on the overall, I mean, they definitely showed the camaraderie between Kurt and I, and showed the friendship that we had in the movie. I mean, through the years, a couple of things kind of got exploited in a different direction.
Yeah.
But I've had enough years to think about it. I understand how the situation was. I know the intention of what they were trying to do. And I think we brought it up in the last podcast about that whole thing about how I had to run and jump and how he was. I have to applaud Kurt for going through all the stuff that he went through, because when I thought about it like later, I was just like, wow, I mean, that was really a lot. It was very physically enduring for him to have to go through so much, and I couldn't even begin to fathom what I would do if I was in that situation. So,
well, too, and having a director in Corey Yoon who is obviously has a different philosophy from Western filmmakers,
right?
Who maybe
right.
I had Cynthia Rothrock on years ago.
Yeah,
she talked about making a movie called Righting Wrongs. And I believe that's the movie where she takes like an axe to the forehead, and she was bleeding, and the director's like, keep going, basically. Nope, keep going. There was no cut, nothing. So physically, the physicality involved, and I know you obviously weren't doing some of your stunts and whatnot, but was it physically demanding on you as well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a scene at the burger stand where he pushes me, then I'm up on the table.
What's the matter, Scott?
It's that slime ball, RJ.
Hey, Scott, why do you hate that kid so much?
I've got my reasons. Well, Pee-wee. Looks like you don't have anywhere else to run, do you?
Yeah, it does look that way.
You scared, punk? You better be. Because you got nowhere else to run.
And I had to push off of him, and then I landed on the ground. Well, I literally landed on the ground.
On concrete.
Right. So, and you know, you're doing everything, and you're green. Well, I want to make sure everything looks great. I mean, I don't want to mess up anything. I don't want it to be my fault.
First big gig, yeah.
Right. So you're pretty much doing everything at JW. We need you to jump from there to over there. Oh, okay. Let me,
Sure.
You're doing it because you're thinking, well, they want you to do it. They must already think it's okay to do. I don't want to disappoint anybody, so let me do this. And then later you're paying the price. I remember I was so sore after that day of shooting there at the burger stand that, you know, getting pulled this way, pulled that way. And you know, you have to try to make things look real as possible.
Right.
To be convincing where it's showing on the camera that, okay, yeah, that looks like that really happened.
Right.
And I mean, some of it to an extent did really happen. I mean, you have the bumps and bruises of it, but you know, you're trying to do everything a certain way, you know.
And that's tough. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you know, your performance is so great in it. And I love this movie on many levels, but specifically you guys, you know, your relationship that you have with Kurt in that movie. But I said it on the previous interview, and I'll say it again. When you show up on camera as RJ, it is so positive.
Check me out, dude. Looking good. Hey, nice move.
Hey, thanks.
My name's RJ. How you doing?
Hi, Jason. What's RJ stand for?
Rafer Jefferson Madison III.
Wow. No wonder you use RJ.
Yeah.
And it's so happy. And I know, you know, No Retreat comes out around a time that Karate Kid had already come out.
Right.
So there's this obvious comparison to that. But one thing that No Retreat has that Karate Kid doesn't is that supportive sidekick in RJ. And you're very much the motivator, you know, and Kurt's character, he's angsty. You know, and I get that, like angry at his father, angry at the whole world that he's at. But RJ's so supportive.
Yeah.
And I often had said, I had a friend of mine, Jason Brown, back in the day, who was my RJ, you know, as a kid.
Yeah.
And I looked at him the same way of like, this guy, you know, he was always there for me.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful world this would be if we had that RJ in our lives. And this character of RJ, like, you always have a smile on your face. And, you know, look, Scott in the film is he's one of the main antagonists, and he's so great.
Yeah, he was.
But we all have that character too. You know, we all have that guy who's going to put that wall in front of us.
Right.
He just happens to be a wall.
Right.
You know, and there's all this backstory that you grow in your head. So in the script, obviously, it's developed a little bit more.
Yes.
But it comes across on screen, so maybe you don't need it. It would have been nice to have another scene with you in it. You know?
Right. And you know, I know when you look at this script, I mean, that's the original script. Look how many pages that was.
Yeah, like that thing is solid.
Yeah, it's like a novel. And you know, I forget what the standard amount of pages are for a feature film. Maybe
I don't know now.
100 plus or so.
Right.
But this, yeah, it was definitely a lot. So there's a lot of different scenes that are on script that are not in the movie.
That's wild. That's wild. And but you said off camera, you and Scott, who plays Scott, you guys were buddies.
Oh yeah. He was from Alabama, and you know, it just shows how it goes against the grain, because here's these two guys that you wouldn't really think would be hanging out. And I mean, we were like the best of buds. I mean, we would go places, hang out. And you know, through the course of time, you know, you start doing other things, and you know, you're here, you're there. He's working on projects, I'm working on projects. You know, same with Kurt. Then you somewhere along the line you lose touch with people.
Right.
You lose touch, and that's kind of the sad part. And I think we've kind of, after we all saw each other from the movie recently in Germany, we've all pretty much kept in touch.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we've kept in touch.
That was one of the questions one of our listeners had, was that reaction that you had when you went to Germany all these years later and had that reunion. That must have been...
It was amazing, and you'll see it when it comes out, because they purposely kept us all apart.
Oh, really?
Purposely. Okay. So when we saw each other for the first time, it was the first time.
Wow.
It was literally the first time. So it was so genuine. It was amazing. And then we all picked up just like if it was from yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and especially Kurt and I, because I mean, we had so many scenes together. You know, we went to Seattle together. There was so much that was a part of that we were able to truly become friends.
Yeah.
During the course of the movie.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate and love that a movie like Karate Kid spawned the sequels, spawned a television series on Netflix, got all this attention. So now what it does, though, is it sparks other people's ideas of going, well, what if we rebooted this? Or
Right.
what if we rebooted that?
Right.
Hopefully this documentary continues that trend of like,
yeah,
got something going on.
Hopefully.
Was this your first time being in Germany?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
How was that for you?
It was amazing. I liked it a lot. You know, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't take my wife with me. But
it's like I want to be here in the studio too, but no.
Yeah. You know,
Next time,
you know,
next time.
sometimes you know, when you have that person in your life, you know, the love of your life, and we've been together for over 25 years, so it's kind of,
nice.
you know, best friend, love of my life. It's like, you want to be able to let them experience everything that you experience, because she knows the other side. She knows the downside. She knows you need to get back into doing what you're doing. Well, I wasn't looking for it. It came to me.
Right.
It came to me, and I didn't realize the impact that this movie had, and especially overseas. And Kurt and Keith and Sean, they were all telling me, hey, believe me, you're not going to believe this. It's going to be overwhelming. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, sure.
Right.
And I went over there and I was just like, wow, you know, but I felt so grateful for it.
Why do you think that is the difference between, and it's not a knock on, you know, American fans at all. It's not.
Right.
But there is a major difference when you go overseas, and the fandom is huge for films that don't get looked at the same way here. Why do you think that is, in your opinion?
Well, I think in this particular film, I mean, it became a part of a series that none of the movies matched up to each other, but that's all right.
No, I agree.
But so there's like, you know, over there it's Karate Tiger. Instead of No Retreat, No Surrender, it's called Karate Tiger, and it's like
Best of the Best 4 is called Karate Tiger 4.
Right. That's like
That's
maybe
best,
20 different movies under this Karate Tiger banner. And I'm like, okay. So it's a big thing to them. And everybody was telling me, hey, you know, every year this movie comes on TV like maybe like 3 times a year. And I'm like, wow, it's like the Wizard of Oz or something out here. I mean, you know, it was showing this movie so many different times. And I was just like, okay.
Sure.
So I saw it firsthand. I appreciated it. I like the fact that, hey, we did something that is really in the hearts and minds of a certain area of this world.
Right.
Here, I mean, I run into people that they know it. You know, I know there's a fan base for it, but not as big as say, you know, the Karate Kid or some of these other movies that may have come out. But still, we appreciate it. We appreciate it all.
I would hold it in the highest regard with, I think, Best of the Best, and No Retreat, No Surrender is a nice combination. It's funny that Best of the Best got called Karate Tiger 4 overseas, and because I have like lobby cards or whatever for it with that on there,
right? And
I have those lobby cards that say Karate Tiger, and I think No Retreat, No Surrender is a better title. That's my opinion. But I will say, and you can see it on this on the YouTube version of this, and I encourage everyone to go check it out and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. But Jonathan brought in the the European version of No Retreat, No Surrender in this beautiful book. They limited it to 250 copies, and it is a hardbound Blu-ray. Like there's 4 discs in there. It's chocked full of like a comic book. I'll take some of the pictures and put them on our Instagram as well.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's a piece of art, and I think that right there is a perfect example of how cinema is appreciated overseas.
Right.
And like, I'm a big physical media guy. I love to hold, the actual thing because I know digital goes away. All it takes is one company to flip a switch and then suddenly it's off YouTube or it's off Netflix or whatever.
Right.
But if you have the actual copy, you're good to go.
Right.
This is a beautiful version of it.
Yeah, it is.
Next to the VHS version back in the day. It's actually from Australia, but that's a whole
Oh,
other
is
thing.
it?
Yeah,
Wow.
I got that when I went to Australia
Wow,
in like
amazing.
2002.
Yeah.
I went to a video store there and I'm like, is this a copy of No Retreat, No Surrender? They're like, yeah, it might, but it's not going to play in your American VCRs. And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm going to take it anyways." So
Yeah.
anyways, it was $1. But
Well, hey.
yeah, so I love that you had that experience because you
Yes.
deserve it, man.
I appreciate that.
Seriously, these as a career in Hollywood, you never know when your big gig's going to come or
Right.
if it's ever going to come again.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you've had some really high highs and you've had some really low lows, but you survived it all.
Yeah.
And you're in the studio with me and I'm looking at you
Yeah.
and like, Jonathan looks great.
Oh, wow.
He's rocking and rolling. He's going to keep his career going, but you did some really fun things in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
You were a part of a reboot, speaking of reboots, of the new Leave It To Beaver.
Yes.
You're on quite a few episodes of that.
Quite a few. I was blessed to work with some TV legends. I worked with, of course, Barbara Billingsley, Tony Dow, Jerry Mathers, Ken Osmond, all those guys on the new Leave It To Beaver. But then I also worked with Michael Landon on Highway to Heaven, and I didn't work with him directly, Ed Asner on Bronx Zoo, but I was on Bronx Zoo.
Right.
But back to the new Leave It To Beaver, because, a couple of things came up recently about that. And one thing a lot of people don't realize, I did an episode, and it's called The New Girl in School.
Yeah.
And
You can find it on YouTube, and I'm going to link your episode to it.
Now, the unique thing about that, our teacher on that episode was Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Really?
Yes. Gotta watch it.
Wow.
What seems to be the problem, Mr. Haskell?
Well, Mr. Hawthorne, I was just explaining to our new classmate how you really brought history to life for me.
Cut the bullpucky and give me the note, huh? Who wrote this? Very well. I'll see you all here after school, and we can just sit until somebody comes forward.
I wrote it.
Well, if you're such a proud author, then maybe you'd like to come up here and read it to the entire class.
What's come over me used to be the cool one. Right when I began, that was always rule one.
You're working with Brian Wilson,
Right.
I mean, he was kind of more to himself. I mean, he was very cordial, but that was a legend. Yeah, you have to watch it. I mean, he was the teacher in the episode, and it was a musical episode, and basically the main kid in there, Kip, Beaver's son, he's having a daydream the whole time about this new girl in school.
Of course he is.
Right, and we're dancing around and doing all this stuff, and it was fun episodes.
You're part of the Casanova crew in that.
Yes.
I love it, man. Like, again, people go, "Oh, I had a guy on recently. A guy named Greg Gagne. He's a professional wrestler.
Okay.
His father Vern owned the company AWA.
Okay.
American Wrestling Association.
Yeah.
And he did some fun, silly vignettes back in the day. Him and Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter was training him,
Okay.
and he's wearing like a military tank top, but it's cropped at the bottom. It's like a crop top, and it's very awkward by like that day standards. But now I look back and I go, this is gold.
Right.
So I look at, there's this rap you have with the Casanova crew on stage. It's so much fun. It's like a montage.
Everybody get up and make your hands clap. Get ready for the new Leave It To Beaver rap. We said, everybody get up and let's have some fun. It's Beaver's 30th anniversary and they're still #1. But it started in Mitchell back in '57. The first First year the cleavers were on your television. So listen up closer to our little tune. We're gonna introduce the Beef's mother too. She's America's #1 mom, she has knowledge. Working for the city council, going to college. For many years she has raised her 2 young boys. While they were younger they made a lot of noise. But now the boys are grown up with families of their own. Wally's moved away but Beaver still lives at home. Leave it to Beaver.
I'll tell you how that came about.
Yeah, please.
So I originally was I was going to do an episode of New Leave It To Beaver. I did the episode, and I think I had maybe one line, maybe a few in there. And I remember the line was, well, of course I'm great. I'm related to Jimi Hendrix or something like that because I played the bass player in the band.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we had. And I think I was just playing around on behind the scenes, kind of rapping and stuff because I was like really, had some stuff going on with that at the time. And they caught wind of it. And the next thing I know, they called my manager and said, hey, we would like him to do something for us for the 40th anniversary. Was it 30th or 40th anniversary for New Leave It To Beaver?
Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, let me bring my group in. And then they got their guy together. He put together this tune, and we wrote it, and it was all about the history of the show.
Wow.
And it has made us change one part because I remember at the very end, we say, well, stand up and applaud the Casanova crew. And they're like, can you change that to say stand up and applaud the cast and the crew? And I'm like, well, I get it. It's
Fine.
because of what we're doing. But
Fine.
Yeah.
But the real fans will know.
Right. So, and from there, they were so happy that they reached out to my agent and manager, said, hey, we want to keep bringing them back on for episodes. And I was doing episodes. I was doing quite a few of them. We moved production from here in Studio City at Universal Studios to Orlando, Florida.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, we were the only production there was us and the movie Parenthood with Ron Howard.
Really?
Got a chance to meet him.
I didn't know they filmed it there.
Yeah, they filmed it on Universal Studios there at the lot. And we were the
Orlando.
only 2 productions there at the time. Everything else is nowhere what it looks like now.
Yeah.
Nothing what it looks like now. But we were literally like the only 2 productions there.
We literally just covered Universal Studios Hollywood on an episode of 80s Kids Unite, another show I do, talking about the heyday. And one of the co-hosts, Wayne, on the show, he lives in Florida, and he'd never been to Hollywood, but he's gone to Orlando quite often. And we talked about the nostalgia of being on the park. And when you're shooting the series there, were like tours coming through and whatnot, or
I don't think it was like set up like that then.
Okay.
Literally, I don't think I just I remember it was just our set and the other set, and there was nothing else happening. I don't remember I don't think a theme park was set up. It wasn't like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was totally. Yeah,
it's quiet on the set.
Yeah. But it was definitely a great opportunity for me to work, like I said again, with some TV legends and to be a part of it. The only downside for me on that show was that everyone else was older than me and the kids were younger than me. So but here I am, and I think I was even. Yeah, I probably was over 21.
Yeah, at that point.
At that point, but the kids weren't. They were like 13, 14, 15, 16, but I'm playing their friend because I still look young enough to play their friends. And,
well, that was a benefit to you, obviously.
Yes. It had its good points and its bad points. I think on the bad side was, as I got older, I still was kind of looking slightly younger. I mean, I started to kind of get some older roles, but most of the roles were still always kind of young. I mean, I played an undercover cop on the Bronx Zoo.
Yeah.
But it was fitting because I still needed to look young anyway to be an undercover cop to fit into the high school.
Right.
But then, I go and I do the 21 Jump Street and I'm playing like a 13-year-old.
Well, we talked about that on the interview with Kurt.
Right.
And I encourage everyone to go back because I showed some cool clips from your episode, the 2-parter, actually. It's a finale. It's a great 2-parter, and you play an integral part in the series, like a huge part in the show.
What up?
Hey, Holmes, check this out.
Where'd you get that?
My sister. I wanted to give her some music, but she was low on cash. I was strapped all day in school. The next time Mr. Social Studies tries to hit me up, I'll be coming from my pocket, homeboy. You're my looked out, baby G.
I loved it.
Wow,
Because
nice.
you're like your character's hardcore in that.
Yes.
Gets addicted to drugs, and it's a whole other story.
Right.
Gets killed, and spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're playing a 13-year-old. And we talked about this because you're like 22 or 23.
Yeah, oh God, I think
Older.
I was even older than that. I was probably 26, 27. I was definitely older, and yeah.
So it's harder. Well, in the 80s too, they were casting people way older than their parts. But you had that look. So you said that was a blessing and a curse kind of sometimes, right?
Yeah, right. Because I was kind of stuck. And I think that's what kind of made me start to venture to other things because, I would get offered roles or things would come up and it was kind of the same thing. And it was weird because I first started out and I was, at the time I would do things like I was pretty much the only African-American in the situation, kind of like with No Retreat, definitely on the new Leave It To Beaver. And then all of a sudden, here comes all these other roles. Well, we want you to play this gangster. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. And it was like, the roles weren't coming to like, well, hey, why don't you play this young lawyer? Why don't you be this doctor? I'm sure they were there and the roles have been coming. And for the actors that have gotten it, it's been a true blessing.
Right.
But I was a part of that phasing into. And so I was kind of stuck in a way.
Yeah.
I felt I was kind of stuck. And every time I get a call to go to an audition, let me guess, what, gay, regular, drug dealer? Oh, both. Oh, it's a 2-for-1 today. Okay. Right. So I was kind of stuck in that genre. And, I had to learn, and through the years, I've learned, okay, well, this is the course of action you have to take. I mean, are you going to take a role like this? But what's going to be the meaning to it?
Right.
It's not just because, you're going to be that guy, this and that. Well, is there more to it? Is it going to be brought out? And that's kind of the things you want to search for and look for,
So is it safe to say you're getting like burnt out on that?
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that. I was kind of getting burnt out. And, then the regrets come in like, well, you shouldn't have really walked away from it. It is your true love. It's what you've always wanted to do. And then I always said, well, I will reach back to it. It will be a full circle. Right. Now we're starting that full circle.
That's great.
And the thing is just to get out there, to let people know. I would sit there for years and I would see things or things would come to me or somebody, hey, look at this. And people would say stuff. And when they don't hear about you, they only think the worst of you.
Right.
That's just the reality. They think the worst of you.
Right.
So when I wasn't out there, I would read things. Oh, well, yeah, we heard he's strung out on drugs. He's doing this. He's doing that. Because someone always wants to try to make a story out of something.
Yeah.
Until that actual person who's living this story can come out and say, hey, that's not the way it was.
Right.
Maybe it's just, hey, I started having children. Hey, I now I have grandchildren. I want to see the best for them. I need to go and do what I have to do to keep this thing going.
Right.
But I never forgot where my true love is. Yeah. I never forgot what I want to do. But I had to kind of be unselfish and let other things happen in life. Now I can come back and be maybe a little selfish and say, hey, let me make these things happen because that can only help complement what's already there.
Right.
But it's just sad that people, they want to think the worst of you if they don't hear about you.
Well, I often say to my son, who's 11 now, it's way easier.
Tell my wife that. Yeah. We were talking about that.
I got 11. Yeah, my boy's 11, Bodie. It's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. It takes effort, right, to go high instead of going low.
Right.
And unfortunately, because of the way the world is now, we've got way more accessibility to those people who want to just throw out some negative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love, besides you being on our show, is I love that when all the cards and stars were aligning and whatnot, it was like, no, this is all meant to be. You know, and I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason.
Exactly.
You know, I'm a firm believer in the universe guiding you.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's God or whether it's, you know, any other deity in your life, like the thing that gets you focused
Right.
in that right direction. Right. I love that, you know, you said, no, I pivoted to do other things in my life that brought me joy. Being a parent gets so overlooked.
Right.
And so not appreciated,
Right.
especially in this business. And I've had people on my show that have said similar things. Like I took a break for a while, you know, or things were not going the way I liked, and I didn't want to feel that way.
Exactly.
Also being a man and saying, well, wait, you going to raise your kids? Like, wait a minute, there's such a stereotype there.
Right, right.
And I love when that stereotype is changed. Like, no, I'm focusing on my family.
Exactly.
You know, and that's beautiful. And everything, like I said, is happening for a reason.
Exactly.
And here we are with No Retreat, No Surrender, making a bigger, stronger reappearance thanks to this documentary.
Right. Right. Which is going to be amazing.
Right. And it's coming out later this year, maybe, hopefully.
Right.
And maybe there'll be a theatrical screening of it, which would be great.
Yes. Yes. You know? Yes. I believe that probably should happen or will happen. Right.
I want to make sure we have enough time because I wanted to bring up there's a show you were part of, just slight pivot, called First and 10.
There's a line we can't measure in between pain and pleasure. There's a point of resistance. Few will ever go the distance. There are wars in the trenches.
Yes.
You did one episode on that.
I did one episode.
Nice.
And yes, now for people who may or may not know, which is going to bring up a lot of different things, that was actually O.J. Simpson's show.
It was.
That's his. I mean, he was the whole force behind it of why that show was going. And I had actually originally auditioned for it, and I read maybe 4 times or so to play his son.
Wow, really?
Didn't get it. This other guy got it, who actually he does look, you know, more like him and anything. But I guess they remembered me, and they brought me back in to do that episode. And I remember that particular episode when we were doing it, and we were filming it at El Camino College.
Okay.
El Camino College, right. And there was a scene where I had to come up and put a knife to the chest of the gentleman that, what's his name? He's a legendary actor. He was on the show, and he played like the coach or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. And I can't remember. I think he passed away, but, just can't remember his name right now. But because I was on the set maybe a couple of days, and I remember I kept putting it up to him, and he had to tell me after a while, hey, take it a little easy because I have a pacemaker. And I felt so bad about that. And I was just like, afterward, I was probably just like, what happened to him? Why aren't you just, you don't understand what was told to me. I'm going to look out for this guy, you know. I don't want to be the cause of something going wrong. Right. And I went from all this mad aggression doing it to just kind of.
How's that?
Let me put the knife right
Glad
there.
you didn't kill him, accidentally.
Oh, gosh. You know, I felt, you know, when he told me, but at least he was kind enough to tell me. He wasn't like coming off like a jerk about it. He was just like, hey, you know, and he told me why. He said, I have this. Can you kind of just, I'm like, I'm so sorry, you know. And
I mean, look, that's a wild story. It's a great show. I encourage everyone to go check out First and 10. You know, that's the thing too. Like, we didn't know what was going on at that time, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Right. But the cast alone on that show was amazing. Yeah. It was a who's who of talent. Yeah. And legit football players, too.
Legit football players that were on there. And, I mean, those guys were great, you know. Didn't work. I think maybe it was a couple of them that were there, but a lot of them were there. Yeah. So we got to meet a lot of them, you know. LT, Lawrence Taylor, he was around, and I had met him years ago, actually, at a publicist office that I was working with. This publicist, and she was working with him. And I remember they told me to come in, hey, I want you to meet somebody. And I was just like, hey. And me not being from here, I knew like, well, yeah, he's a football player, but I didn't know what team. I was like, hey, great to meet you. Yeah.
Right.
And later I'm like, oh, wow, this guy really was like, something, but
Just happens to be one of the greatest linebackers of all time.
Right. But me,
Whatever.
I was born and raised Cincinnati, Bengals fan. So it was like, well, I know you weren't with the Bengals. So,
Hey, I used to do the Icky Shuffle to celebrate here in California, and people are like, what are you doing that for? I'm like, it's Icky Shuffle. I was like, 10 or something.
right.
When the Niners were really big here. And then the Bengals played the Niners in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
twice.
I'm hoping, I know.
Twice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm a
twice.
Lions fan. I'm from Detroit originally.
Oh.
So I've been dealing with this my entire life.
Yeah. Well, they're looking much better. They're looking a lot
They had a
better.
chance last year. Hopefully this
Yeah.
will be their year. I say that every year.
And if you're a Tigers fan, they're doing great too with
I
baseball.
was literally just talking to my dad about that on the phone
Yeah.
because if someone says to me, name your favorite player from the Tigers, I go, oh, Kirk Gibson. They go, back in the 80s? Like, yeah, that's where my mind goes. Cecil Fielder in the 90s because I really don't follow it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
My dad, tells me, oh, they're first in their division. And I'm
They
like,
are.
okay, cool.
They are.
Great.
I think they'll do okay.
I think so.
They'll definitely be in the playoffs.
I think so.
Right.
What I love about the fact that we made this happen to have you in the studio was, we were talking over the phone,
Right.
via email as well,
Right.
and we were going to do this in Zoom,
Right.
and the opportunity for anything to pop up is always greater when you're in studio with somebody.
Right.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to
I am
Kurt
too.
specifically because
Yeah,
if it wasn't for Kurt, this
Right.
wouldn't have happened. So
Yeah.
thank you, Kurt.
Yeah, I have to reach out to him. It's been a little while since I talked to him, but we're still keeping in touch.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're all busy in this world,
Right.
and I'm glad that you said it at one point during this interview. You said, getting back into it,
Yes.
or things going in a different direction.
Right.
I only want more of that for you.
I truly appreciate that. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate that. And we can only make happen what we're going to allow ourselves to make happen. So, I mean, I have to put the energy into it. I have to put the time into it. And it's kind of, I always tell people, if a person becomes a millionaire and they lose it all, they could become a millionaire again because they already know what it takes to become one.
Agreed.
Because they've been there. So, people could tell me, oh, you're going to get into acting? Well, yeah. Well, that's a hard, I've already been there. I know.
Right.
I know. And then the one that gets me is like, yeah, you to do some acting? Well, were you doing extra work? Well, yeah, I started off that way. But it's kind of like, then when they realize, oh, wow, you did this, you did that. But you just, well, I mean, here's life. Here's reality. I've done that, but maybe I'm doing this now, or maybe I'm doing this now. And the thing, even when I was doing it and at the high level for it, I still always remain humble. I would be the guy that would be on the set and I'll go hang out with the extras.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going to speak with people who are going to speak from the heart. Not someone that's going to give me some facade over here like, oh, I'm this actor, I'm this and that. Well, we know that, and that's it. They're not all like that, but I've experienced good and bad. I've experienced people that just thought, hey, nothing can touch me. I'm this person, I'm this and that. And then I've experienced being around some of the biggest stars possible, and they were very down to earth.
That's great.
And they don't have to remind you. You know who they are. They know you know who they are.
Right.
They're not going around, well, I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. We all know. But it's like they're humble. And maybe sometimes it could be due to your background or where you came from or what you went through. And you remember these things. So when you're there, you just never forget where you came from because you might have to go back. Right. You never know. You might have to go back. So,
and for better or worse, this world is a cyclical place. Yeah. Everything comes back around, and I only want those highs for you.
I truly appreciate it. I really do.
Your humble attitude, humble spirit. There's I used to read Charlotte's Web to my son, and what does the spider say to the pig? Just be humble.
Right.
And what does that mean? And as a teacher and as someone who's worked with kids all my life, that word integrity is important. That word integrity is maybe the most important thing.
Right.
And if you got that and you've got that humility and you're able to be humble, that's only going to get you in a positive direction, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's a very great opinion because I mean, unfortunately, everyone doesn't see that outlook like that. They don't grasp that concept, and you know, but humble and you know, just being down to earth and you know, letting people know, hey, I'm just like anybody else. I mean, and you see it in people. I saw it when we were in Germany. Like, you know, people see us and it was like, wow. You can see the difference between people like coming to take a picture with you and they're sitting there, they're shaking. And I'm just like,
right.
I get it. But at the same time, it's just us.
Right.
It's just us. I mean, we're all, you know, just down to earth, you know.
And, you know, I said this a long time ago. Sometimes, you know, people have a really rad job and have done some really cool things with that job.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, they are human beings.
They're human beings. Exactly.
We're all same on the inside.
Yeah, they make the same mistakes that the next guy does. They have good days, they have bad days. And people, they don't see that. They have this certain image. Oh, you're this and that. Oh, where are you living? Oh, what kind of car you have? Oh, this. They think everything is a certain way.
Yeah.
Where I've seen firsthand people that I thought would be a certain way, and then I look and I'm like, well, their life really isn't that different than mine.
No.
You know, for whatever reason. But they're still down to earth about it. Yeah.
Like shabba-doo in his Jaguar back
Man, yeah. That was something. That was something.
What I love about this business seems to be changing in a good way.
Right.
Where people want to, hey, I've got this cool project. I'm going to hire somebody. I'm going to hire my buddy.
Right.
You know, Sean Kanan, who's a friend of the show, called me up one time and he's like, hey, do you have so-and-so's number for this project I want to do with him?
Yeah.
And I called him up and next thing you know, they're working together doing a show. And I'm like,
nice.
It's the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
You know?
Networking. Exactly.
And good people want to be with good people.
Exactly.
And that's the bottom line.
Exactly.
So from one good person to another good person, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
Immense gratitude to you, Jonathan.
I appreciate
Immense.
it, Zach. I truly appreciate it. And you know, hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Well, we will do this again.
They let me know.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, because there's definitely some other things, like I said, were not sure where it was at for me to say, but we'll talk a little bit more about it afterwards.
Sounds perfect. To be continued.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.